What's up, Taiwan? I'm Jaime Ocon with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Iran has launched a barrage of missiles at Israel, targeting Tel Aviv. The missile strikes come a day after Israel launched an attack on Iranian nuclear facilities and targeted Tehran's top military leadership. Aldir Bra reports.
A quiet night shattered in seconds. An Iranian missile slams into a high-rise building in central Tel Aviv, just meters from Israel's defense ministry. The night skies across central Israel were lit up by Israel's Iron Dome air defenses, targeting incoming Iranian ballistic missiles. All part of Tehran's response to Israeli strikes on nuclear and military sites across Iran. Residents across Tel Aviv forced to take shelter.
After a few minutes, we just heard a very big explosion. Everything was shaking, smoke, dust, everything was all over the place. I thought it's smoke and I'm getting suffocated, so I tried to go up.
Tensions between the two Middle Eastern countries have been rising for months, as Israel highlighted the threat posed by Iran's nuclear weapons program. But Israel's escalation was unprecedented, killing senior commanders and reportedly damaged enrichment sites at Natanz, Fordo and Isfahan, something Iran is calling an act of war.
فکر نکنند که زدند و تمام شد. نه. کار رو اونها شروع کردند و جنگ به راه انداختند. ما به اونها اجازه نخواهیم داد که از این جنایت بزرگی که انجام دادند خودشون رو سالم خلاص کنند.
The UN nuclear watchdog has confirmed that Israel's attack destroyed the above-ground pilot plant at Natanz, raising alarms over the safety of nuclear facilities in the conflict.
At Natanz, the above-ground part of the pilot fuel enrichment plant, where Iran was producing uranium enriched up to 60% uranium-235, has been destroyed.
Meanwhile, in a raid address, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke directly to the people of Iran, calling on them to stand up to their government.
The objective of Israel's military operation is to remove this threat, both the nuclear threat and the ballistic missile threat to Israel. And as we achieve our objectives, we're also clearing the path for you to achieve your objective, which is freedom.
Air raid sirens continue to ring out across Tel Aviv as residents brace for another wave of Iranian missiles. One person is confirmed to have been killed in Tel Aviv and dozens injured. As world leaders call for immediate de-escalation, both sides are refusing to back down as fears of a full-blown regional war grow. Alex Chen, Aldir Bra for TaiwanPlus.
U.S. military officials say that Taiwan needs to be as difficult as possible to invade in order to deter a conflict with Beijing. It comes as China is stepping up its military presence by deploying not one, but two aircraft carriers in the Indo-Pacific. Somewhere in the Western Pacific, China's Navy is conducting military exercises. And while the scale is not as big as previous drills aimed at Taiwan, they're demonstrating the extent that Beijing's modernized its armed forces. U.S. officials now increasingly concerned about the potential for a war in the region. They say Taiwan is a critical partner and that more needs to be done to deter a conflict.
We've been studying this in the Navy for a long time. We have a global series of war games. We needed to make Taiwan a very difficult target to take.
Those comments come as for the first time, two Chinese aircraft carriers were spotted operating in the second island chain, a strategic group of islands that rarely sees this much activity from China until now. Branching outwards into waters where the U.S. and its allies usually operate and challenging their presence.
为什么在这个时候呢会展示出美国的我们叫协调作战能量，或者说它的计划能量？突然山东舰跟辽宁舰两艘航舰战斗群呢，就突然出现在第二岛链的东西两侧。这当然第一个美国必须要有所应对。
While the U.S. will likely increase its own presence with more fighter jets and warships in the region, here in Taiwan, a response might not be as big. Taiwan is already scrambling its fighter jets on a weekly basis to ward off Chinese military aircraft flying close to the country. But analysts say that with limited resources, Taiwan might not be able to keep that up as Beijing continues its modernization.
And as the Navy in China develops more significantly with aircraft carriers and just develops a more blue water Navy, we're going to need to see a change in response to that as well. And I think one of that is possibly not necessarily overreacting to every time these aircraft carriers go. That doesn't mean we ignore them, but not every time an aircraft carrier moves, we have to set off alarm bells.
With China continuing its military expansion, the U.S. and Taiwan will now have to figure out how they will adapt to the changing security environment, one that seems to be changing faster than expected. Fu Huahong and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus. A lawmaker from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party says he'll propose a change to a law that requires Taiwanese who take up Chinese citizenship to still serve in Taiwan's military.
假设已经取得中国的户籍跟国籍，然后又在台湾当兵，那又可以取得这个我们军营内部的资料，说真的会有一些国安的风险。
It comes after Taipei officials revealed that they had notified 9 Chinese citizens who used to be Taiwanese of the need to complete compulsory military service here in Taiwan. Despite the national security concerns, the Interior Ministry said the rule is intended to make sure no citizen tries to avoid military service by taking Chinese nationality. Lawmakers from the opposition Taiwan People's Party say they're tabling a constitutional amendment to scrap the Control Yuan, Taiwan's government watchdog. Under Taiwan's constitution, the Control Yuan is one of the 5 branches of government intended to censure failing government officials and investigate wrongdoing. But its members are nominated by the executive, leading to accusations it isn't independent enough to the task. The TPP says it has already secured enough votes to clear the first hurdle, but still faces a long journey to successfully change the constitution, including a national referendum. Hundreds of people in Taipei grabbed their blankets, pillows, and eye masks on Friday and headed for an annual competition in sleep. Leslie Liao was there for this year's event.
Could you fall asleep in 7 minutes? And if you could, how good would that sleep be? That's what you're looking at here. People are competing to see who can get the best quality snooze in a short period of time. On top of that, they have to do it in less than ideal conditions. There's someone speaking loudly over a speaker, crowds of people watching them, and an exhibition going on at the same time. It's an event that's drawn hundreds of people after last year's competition went viral.
可能有一些参与的消费者可能是网红啦，所以他流量非常高。我记得有一个参赛者流量1300万次，就是观看数。
Here are the rules. Participants are given 7 minutes to sleep. Each person wears a pulse oximeter to measure their heart rate and blood oxygen levels. Staff go around tracking each person's numbers, and that's how they measure each person's sleep quality. Participants came to the competition loaded for bear. From blankets to eye masks to even plushies, people brought what they needed to get their best rest.
我今天有准备这个毯子，然后眼罩，然后还有这个耳机。
小被被跟抱枕。
But one of the competition's top performers didn't bring anything. Her strategy was more about technique than equipment.
其实没有，因为我就是陪朋友来的，所以我就什么都没准备。因为我发现这边灯光蛮亮的，所以我刚刚后来就是侧睡，然后有就是遮光一下。
This competition, now in its 3rd year, takes place alongside a trade show promoting sleep products. Taiwan's work culture is one of the most demanding in the world, and that makes sleep a precious commodity.
早上起来的时候觉得啊，睡不够，还想再睡一下。
工作可能压力比较大，对，然后，因为可能是就是压力大，就会影响到睡不太好，这样不太敢好好睡觉。
Sleep might not be the most conventional competitive category, but if this event highlights anything, it's that everyone needs it, and most would like more of it, no matter where, when, or how. Patrick Sun and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Custom modified motorbikes have long had a fan base among a certain subset of Taiwanese bikers, but it's only recently that the wider public is coming to appreciate them both as vehicles and as works of art. John Van Trieste takes a look into a subculture emerging from the underground.
When Gao Xiangyan was a student, he never imagined he'd be a respected craftsman working on custom motorbikes. This was someone who'd studied telecommunications engineering, not the sort of person used to working with their hands. But a failed quest to trick out his first motorbike set him on a path that would become his life's work. Gao's career as a remodeler of motorbikes didn't start out smoothly. He says he had no credentials or reputation, and so getting customers was tough at first. But he ignored the temptation to give up, and now has a place as a professional in a niche but growing biker subculture. He's far from alone in the field, though, as new talents are building a name and carving out a place for themselves all the time. Huang Minglong is 24 and was a rising star from his first attempt at turning a bike into a unique creation.
我就在朋友的工厂里面打造了一台属于自己的手工车，然后那时候刚好在这个手工车界里面有一场比赛，对，所以说我就抱持着试试看的心情，就去报名了那场比赛。结果就成功让我拿到了第2名。就在我成立工作室的这1年，我又再次去参加了这个比赛，结果就很荣幸的又拿到第1名。
His dream now is to enter a competition in the U.S. and win, putting Taiwan's custom bike scene on the map. Motorbike redesigners like these are resourceful people. They often have to search out long discontinued parts from obscure overseas sources. They need a wide range of contacts, even furniture upholsterers to provide the right foam so the seats are perfect. They do their own part making and DIY assembly as well. And of course, they have to test out their creations themselves too, checking to make sure everything is up to the highest standards. Maybe the hardest thing they have to do, though, is push back against misunderstanding about what they do. Taiwan has over 14 million scooters and motorbikes, but these are mostly standard models. And even though people have been customizing bikes in Taiwan for at least 20 years, there's still a sense that these bikes are dangerous, or worse.
台湾的改装法规其实是非常的完善的，但重点在于认知问题。今天不管是民众的认知、警察的认知、检验人员的认知，他们都完全不一样。他们就会认定为只要改装就是违法。
But they say this isn't what the law actually says. As the custom bike subculture grows, there are hopes in the community for even more explicit leeway from the government.
那我都更较好，我当然会当参像日本、像美国安尼，算讲咱这个物件是政府甲咱讲，你改autobike是会使，你是爱改安全，你爱改到较好。那安尼，咱一般的店家吼，若讲要来做，还是讲要来带少年的继续做，其实是较有利处的店。
These DIY bike modders say what they do is a form of art, and they hope for greater freedom to express themselves and keep a thriving scene expanding. Luffy Lee and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we take you to Sao Paulo, where a sanctuary was built to rescue pumas threatened by urban sprawl. I'm Jaime Ocon. Take care, and we'll see you next time. For more stories from here in Honolulu, Hawaii, and around the world, make sure to visit us on social media.